I'd like to yield to Mr. Stark, who many, many years ago, when George Washington's hair was black, he started in this down here in the Congress, and I yield to you for 5 minutes.
Thanks, Dad. It was that many years ago that I guess I introduced the first carbon tax. I guess I'd ask, is there anybody on the panel where the carbon tax wouldn't be your second choice?
What's that? Yes.
Wouldn't be your second choice? First choice. Okay. I go back and I think, for instance, gas taxes. This committee collects an awful lot of gasoline taxes, which eventually get spent by the states to build roads, pretty much. I don't see any reason why we couldn't change that to a cap and trade. You know, let the states swap their right to tax gasoline, and California could buy from Nevada, who doesn't really need any roads anymore because everybody flies to Las Vegas. When we had the Superfund, Dr. Elmendorf, you probably weren't even out of high school then, but was there any major...
Thanks, Dad.
Was there any major change in the economy or employment or when the Superfund went in or when it went out?
Well, changes in where the government spends money and collects money affect those sectors of the economy. Jobs are created where money is spent, and jobs are lost where money is no longer spent.
And wouldn't it be your understanding that at the rate the government is now spending money, that any carbon tax would get spent? If it hasn't already been spent a dozen times over.
I don't think I want to speculate on the actions of the committee.
So that while there's an issue, I guess, about, and I don't know if anybody here would deny that consumers would pay eventually, whether it's cap and trade or tax. But the issue that somehow we've avoided is what is the cost to the country or to consumers if we do nothing. And we haven't heard a lot of testimony from the panel there. There's some disagreement, I guess, as to how important it is that we stop global warming, and there's a question of whether the United States by itself makes any difference, unless we can encourage the rest of the free world or the rest of the world to follow suit. And I guess my question, Dr. Elmendorf, would be, what would be the economic pressure, if any, on the rest of the world to follow suit if we enacted any kind of a program, whether it be cap and trade or taxes? Would there be anything besides just moral suasion on the rest of the world to indeed follow suit?
I think the crucial part of economic pressure can be how we treat imported goods. And if we force imported goods that come from countries without comparable carbon prices to pay an extra duty on admission to this country, that puts economic pressure on other countries to raise carbon prices. The issue, as you know, is whether those sorts of border adjustments are consistent with WTO rules. And I'm not a lawyer. I'm told that there is uncertainty about that issue.
And the risk of retaliation, I suppose, from those countries who
yes.
would...
There are provisions of the WTO agreement that seem that, in some people's judgment, provides the opportunity for the sort of border adjustment that people are discussing. And there are other interpretations that this particular thing that people would try to do if we did a cap and trade system with border adjustments would not pass muster with those rules.
Thank you. And I want to thank the panel for their patience and their efforts to help us understand what's the best way to go forward. Thank you all very much.